I wanted to bring up real quick was our favorite Congressman, Byron Donalds, who is a black Republican. I forget which state he's from, but you'll see him usually with Lauren Boebert and Marjorie Taylor Greene. He's really gunning for the vice presidency, which I don't think he's going to get. I have a prediction on that, but I don't think it's Byron Donalds. But the other day, I think it was yesterday, he came under fire for saying something like, it was better for black people under Jim Crow. And this is something that I point to all the time, that if you talk to Republicans and you ask them two questions, like, when was America great? And specifically, when was it good for black people? They will always allude to the fact that it was better before the civil rights era. They usually don't say it out loud. But here's what Byron Donalds said, that he's been.
My mom, my dad and my mom, things didn't work out. As an adult, I look at my father and I say, bro, I don't know what happened, but you my father and I love you.
Wow.
I don't know what happened. I wasn't there.
Wow.
But I'm going to tell you this. Growing up, the one thing I knew I wanted to do, and this is not about my father, this is about what I wanted to do, is I wanted to be a father to myself.
Wow.
I want to interrupt real quick and say that I too wish that Byron Donalds' dad was there to raise him, because he may have turned out to be a better man when he grew up. So, Byron Donalds, you have my sympathy that your dad left you, but seeing the kind of person you are, I kind of get it. I don't think I would want to hang out with you either. So maybe we can't blame Mr. Donalds for this after all. I mean, probably had bad vibes as a kid, but let's see what happens.
His dad and Matt Powell's dad, they met up and
And so one of the things that's actually happening in our culture, which you're now starting to see in our politics, is the reinvigoration of black families with younger black men and black women. And that is also helping to breed the revival of a black middle class in America. You see, during Jim Crow, the black family was together.
That's right.
During Jim Crow, more black people were not just conservative, because black people always have been conservative minded, but more black people voted conservatively. And then HEW, Lyndon Johnson, and then you go down that road, and now we are where we are.
So this is a pretty common refrain that you hear from conservatives, that, black folk had it pretty rough during Jim Crow, but at least their families were strong. Because if you look at the data, more black people stayed together. They had fewer divorces, but then Lyndon Johnson came along and ruined it all with the welfare and helping people out after hundreds of years of oppression. That's what tanked the black family. If only we hadn't have given them any assistance whatsoever, things would have been fine. I mean, sure, white marriage rates have declined since then too, but let's not focus on that. Let's just focus on the fact that black marriage rates have declined since then, and it's just nakedly obvious that he's him with his fucking cigar in his hand, pandering his shit to white racists. And I don't know. I just wanted to broadcast that and get you guys' thoughts on it. We'll go to John first. John, what are your thoughts on that? I like
why'd you put him on the spot like that?
TJ's been doing this thing where whenever we have a black guest on, he picks the racial topics and then just throws to me. He's like, I definitely want to hear John's opinion on this first.
I saw him look at you and I was like, oh no.
No, I just my first opinion is that I have beard envy. He has a very well-groomed beard. So that's my first opinion. Second opinion is I feel like there's a certain kernel of truth, there, and I say this a lot about individualism, where there is a kernel of truth to individualism, where if you tell someone, hey, everything isn't your fault, it's the system's fault, that's why it is, they're not going to do what they need to do in order to improve their own lives. And I see this all the time from especially black conservatives, where they're like, oh, well, we can't acknowledge systemic racism, because if we do that, then black people, they're just going to become pussies or whatever they want to say to describe it. And they're not going to work hard and do what it takes to survive in this world. And it's like, you can do both. You can have personal responsibility to make your life better, to make your family's life better, while also acknowledging that the system is rigged against you. you can do
Yeah.
both. Like you can acknowledge that, hey, there were, families were together more, sure, but it was probably because, they shouldn't have been, or there were systemic factors that, like, if they were changed, they would have stayed together, but they weren't. It's a very like just surface level reading, which I do see a lot with like Black conservative influencers really like to go to that well. And I get it. I get why certain people would be attracted to that school of thought, because it does improve their own lives when they pursue it and they get that confirmation bias, but it doesn't really work on the systemic level.
Right. I mean, I fully agree, and I always try and emphasis on try, because it most of the time doesn't work out, but I try to hold empathetic space for Black conservatives when they espouse rhetoric like this, because I try to
TJ just shook his head like a dog. He was just like,
no, go ahead. Go ahead.
No, wait, let me cook. I try to, and the reason I try to hold space isn't like what they're saying is actively harmful. However, when I, zoom out and sort of try to look at it from a historical perspective with the historical context of these Black families, and sort of the generations prior and what they've been through, these politicians, these Black conservative politicians, these are descendants of slaves, right? These are descendants of people who went through Jim Crow. And I think one of the biggest sort of like pass downs that came from slavery to Jim Crow to now Black conservative ideology is this idea of like hard work, right? Because that's all that lineage has known for the past however many 100 years. This idea that hard work is everything, like what you do. And I learned this, I think last summer when I went on a trip down south, a civil rights trip down south that took us to, Louisiana and Alabama. And then it took us to the Slavery Legacy Museum that documented like the African history from like colonialism and all the way to like mass incarceration. And one of the ideological through lines, one of the things that I noticed as I was going through this museum, which is really amazing, it's called the Legacy Museum, it's fantastic, I recommend everybody go, was that Black people as slaves were selectively bred to be workers, and not just physically, but like mentally. It was a mentality that it was instilled. And then even after slavery ended and we had things like sharecropping and tenant farming, the hard work, honest days, hard work was something that was passed down from family to keep survival up, right? Like it was a means of survival. And so when I hear these people talk about how in Jim Crow the Black family was stronger and we have to pull ourselves up by our bootstraps, I can identify where that comes from, and I can sort of hold somewhat empathetic space for it, and still recognize that in this world it's actively harmful and these people are class traitors. But I try not to make fun of them too much, but I still end up doing it. I don't know. Well, TJ, why'd you like turn your head?
Hold on, I gotta change to my headphones here. My AirPods are dying. Hope this works.
Of course.
Got a hitch here. Somebody say something.
I'm saying something. I'm saying that
God
TJ
damn it!
definitely
Oh no!
Get needed again. No, it is like it's always a hard
God. Okay, I'm gonna try to get through without these AirPods dying and see if I can. Well, you guys can hear me, so I can talk. But all right. Anyway, so first thing I wanted to point out, the reason I shook my head out today, you were talking about how you have empathy for Black conservatives. It wasn't really for the reason you guys thought. It's because I used to be one, so I know how Black conservatives think and everything.
True, yeah.
Yeah. So, but looking back on it, it's like, you don't feel too bad for them. Trust me. It's like keep that contempt nice and healthy. But Ajay, when did you go on this field trip? Like, how many years ago was this that you went to
last
Louisiana?
summer?
You were
around
summer?
This time.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. So it's for like a college thing? Was it like or just like a family trip or a college thing or what?
I went along with, I was the videographer. I went along with a bunch of teachers and educators from the Minneapolis Public School District, where I live in Minneapolis, to go on this really cool legacy trip. And it was awesome, man. I mean, we went down and went to the church that was bombed in, what was it, Alabama. We spoke to one of the relatives of the five girls that were killed in that church bombing. We went to Selma and spoke to an activist that was with Martin Luther at the time, and then we went to the Legacy Museum, and so it was a really cool journey.
Okay, I was just asking because now I know that Minneapolis heavy with the CRT, still working strong in Minneapolis. That's good to know.
Yeah.
And I wanted to point out the thing about conservative advice that you guys said, because it's kind of what I like to say, that conservative advice, it's true and it works on a personal level. That if you just want to work hard and better yourself, it is excellent advice. And it is terrible on a societal level, or looking at wide populations. It's awful, because one thing I always say is that when it comes to conservative advice, that hey, do your best at work. Try to stand out from your peers. Like, go for that promotion. Find jobs and be appreciated, and make friends. Stuff. That advice has always worked for me. It's worked 100% of the time. And but listen, the truth is, like, everyone isn't me. I'm not trying to sound like an asshole here, but I have a lot of advantages a lot of other people don't. Say what? I'm built. Look. If you got it, you got it, right? I'm pretty funny. I'm charming. I'm easy to talk to. I've got a great vocabulary. I'm tall. I'm devilishly handsome. I mean, this shit works very well in my favor, and so it's like, if I just tell her, hey, do what I do, and like a small difference could change everything. And the survivorship bias is massive. And that if you just assume that, if I could do it, why can't everyone else do it? Well, yeah, because that's not how statistics work. And when we're talking about the marriage thing, what bothers me the most about not the most, it's up there, but when they talk about how like Ate, you were talking about, well, there were reasons that the families were together longer and the divorce rate was lower. Primary one is that women were basically trapped. They couldn't leave. There's nothing they could do. They couldn't go get jobs on their own to support themselves. They couldn't get credit cards. And what they always leave out, the Black conservatives, or conservatives in general, when they talk about the breakdown of the Black family, they always pretend that it only happened because the government gave Black families money and women decided they didn't need husbands anymore, or maybe the aid was conditional upon being married, which was fucked up. They shouldn't have done that. But they never mentioned the war on drugs. Not one mention of the war on drugs and how that incarcerated millions of Black men and took them away from their families for years at a time, then spits them back out into a job market with a criminal record where they can't get a job, which hurts not only them, but their children and their wife. And this went on for generations, and it really bugs me. And then he has the fucking audacity to say, well, during Jim Crow, Black people vote conservative. Bitch, Black people weren't voting at all. What the fuck are you talking about? This is Jim Crow. The whole fucking goddamn point of Jim Crow was to stop Black people from voting. And he's like, well, look how conservative they vote. Yeah, no, they weren't. It was pretty conservative. It was so conservative, it didn't happen. So it's just like, I just can't, but like, they will let anyone into Congress. Like Byron Donalds is just a prime example to me that any fucking loser can run for Congress and run. 100%. And he's just great. I can't stand that dude, but I don't know. I just wanted to bring that one up as a little wild card there, because I felt pretty passionate about this. So
yeah, clearly, but I 100% agree. It's funny because I haven't seen not one like Black conservative that I'm like, okay, they went to school, like they have an education. Like I have never seen. Why is it that? And this is what really kind of sucks, because it makes Black people look bad, not just for right wingers, but for like progressive white people too. When they see Black conservatives like Byron Donalds, or like what was the other one that used to be an NFL player? Forgot.
Herschel Walker.
That's it. Yep.
Herschel. You know what I'm saying? Like when we see people like this, like it looks silly, because these are the political leaders of their races. Like these are the people they prop up. These are Canazoans, and they're all so dumb. Like they're all
So dumb.
without even like 7th grade historical knowledge. Like it's sad to see, like truly sad to see.
Although I will say, to a certain extent, I feel like I kind of prefer a dumb Byron Murphy to a intelligent class trader.
No, it's fine. Yeah.
No. I meant class trade. Like I actually meant in class. I mean, it's intertwined, but like Obama. Like you're talking like this person I know is dumb. Like I'm just like, that's a dumb person. They're just being dumb. They don't understand.
Yeah.
But like the dangerous ones, like Martin Luther King, the white liberal. You now have the black liberal that does the same fucking thing. You know what I mean?
So I think the more dangerous one would be like Thomas Sowell, like an educated, like black guy who that's worse, I think, than the black liberals. 100%. Is like the rare, not only just rare conservative with an education, but a rare black conservative education. Because then have you read Thomas Sowell lately? Check out what he has to say. It's like, oh God, get the hell out of here.
If anyone's watching this right now, go look up Unlearning Economics on YouTube. Subscribe to him. He does a whole fucking thing on how Thomas Sowell is not like a real fucking economist.
Terrible,
it is terrible. But yeah, no, you'll hear. I like economics a lot, and Thomas Sowell. I want to just like throw him off a cliff. He's so annoying.
Still alive too. God, it's like we lost Michael Brooks at like 38. He's 93.
Yeah, 93 is nuts to still be walking around. That's crazy.
Jesus Christ.
All right, thank you guys for watching. If you made it this far, you are definitely not one of our least favorite subscribers. Where you are not last place, I guarantee you. But if you want to secure your standing, make sure to hit that subscribe button, hit that like button, leave a comment, do all of those things that are going to boost us in the algorithm and show this to more people. And if you really did like what we had to say today, and you liked what our guest had to say today, Destructo Hugo, how about you tell people where they can find you?
Thank you so much for giving me this platform. You can find me I'm most active on TikTok at DestructoJugo. You can also find me on Instagram at DestructoJugo_, and very important, subscribe to my YouTube. That's the biggest thing I can say. YouTube DestructoJugo. I make video essays about my favorite films and TV shows. Sometimes from a political lens, sometimes from an artistic one, but I really enjoy, analyzing media, and I really enjoy having conversations around media and how they intersect with our society. So, if you like what you see, go ahead and drop the subscribe.
Thanks so much, guys. We really appreciate you tuning into the show today, and we are very happy to have this audience. You guys are faster, you're smarter, you're better. You are the real heroes. Thanks so much. Have a good day.